Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And we are back with our Sister Wives Rewind. And you know, Brooke, next week we'll have a brand new Sister Wives episode.
I know. It's so
crazy
exciting
to think about. Yes.
Oh, and I did hear through reliable sources that there's going to be 5 new episodes.
Okay.
And then 4 tell-all episodes.
Ooh. So, okay. So that'll take us.
Lot.
Yeah, that's 9 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So very exciting.
Yeah. Well, today we're covering season 9, episode 6, Trying to Stay Afloat. But I have to say, I was just scrolling through Instagram and I catch this video of, it looked like it was a part 2 of a video, but it was a video of Mary and Jen, just Jen, talking, and maybe it was a Friday with Friends. I could not figure out what it was. But Mary was going off. She's like, why? I have no relationship with Kody. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on with Robyn. I don't know what this thing is about Robyn collecting dollies. I don't know why. I don't know if she has a doll collection. And if she did, she wouldn't tell me. I mean, like going off. And so it seems like what's happening is that all of these podcasts that are talking about Robyn and Kody and making these
her doll collection.
About her doll collection, because I guess that was tripped upon, like, I guess they found it through Etsy. So I guess it was a public format.
I think it was Pinterest. She had a Pinterest board where she had some dolls, but then she shut it down because someone found it.
Mm-hmm.
People started commenting. And then but I also think she, through Etsy, may have purchased some things and left reviews.
Mm-hmm. That's
People
right.
found those as well. Yeah.
So, of course, everyone is going to Fridays with Friends and asking her about it. And the thing that's so funny about it is about Mary, just how Mary is, of just like, I don't know these things. And you know who's in my life? This person, Jen, right here, and she's so angry. But it's kind of like Mary, and I understand this is all new to Mary. This is her life. But like, I just wish that Mary would take a few steps back and go, maybe I should investigate this doll thing. Like, if you got tea, Mary, everyone would be thrilled. If you were like, you know what? I'm going to go over to their house. I'll be back. She learned more about the dolls and came back and told us. That would be great. It's just, it's so, she doesn't get it. I don't think she gets why people are asking her these things, but it inevitably makes her so frustrated that people ask her these questions.
Well, she's got to understand that people are interested in them. Obviously, they're still on the air. And that she was the closest person to Kody and Robyn until recently. I guess now they just have no contact. But, she could maybe infiltrate. She could maybe, I don't know, call Aurora or Brianna or something. I don't know. But I just don't think Mary cares. I think she wants to move on with her life. And I think it annoys her to have people asking her questions about Robyn and Kody.
And I understand that. And at the same time, then if you want to keep selling LuLaRoe at this level, like this is the price that you pay is, yes, people are going to ask you about this. There's a little bit of like, yeah, you're the person who has the hit song. So guess what? Everyone's going to ask you to play that hit song every time you're out there. And that's what's afforded your life.
But is she still working for LuLaRoe? Because I think what you're talking about are those videos with Jen, because I've seen a few of them, and I don't think it's Friday with Friends. I think it's just her and Jen doing videos because, they're kind of a team now. They've got that salty birches thing, and they're kind of a duo now, and they're going live and they're talking about stuff. So I don't know. I haven't seen one where she's actually selling LuLaRoe in a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe it's not that, but it's a little bit of this thing of, not really getting what it is that, like, the price of admission for people to pay attention to you, Mary, is talking about this. Right. And that's just how it is. And that's the part that frustrates me. And I just wish you would kind of see it and get it and lean into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to have a hit show, you got to open up. Like, I was listening to, Denise Richards was being interviewed by, she was on Jeff Lewis. And, she's such an open book and will
Yeah,
talk
she
about
is.
everything. And that's why people are so interested in her. And like that show that she, I think she'll get another season.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was a fun show.
Yeah. And she opened up. I don't think there's anything she won't talk about, and so, yeah, that's, if you want to be successful and, this is reality TV, this is what it is, you have to do it. And that's why a lot of people are kind of annoyed by the Browns, for all these years, just not opening up. And they're still trying to keep things close to the vest. But, I don't know how much longer they're going to remain interesting if they don't open up.
Yeah. Yeah. People want, right? That's what people want, some level of authenticity. Doesn't mean you have to reveal everything or show absolutely everything. I'm not asking for that, but you just can't be angry. You can't yell at people and be like mad because they're asking you these kinds of questions. I know you're not watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but the big issue this right now is the fact that, Kyle Richards introduced this woman, Morgan Wade, onto the show, and paparazzi was following them everywhere. And I do believe that, there are certain people and certain things that paparazzi will follow, but they're not following Kyle Richards in everywhere. So someone's calling them. So it does seem like she wanted that attention. And now with this season, she came back and she said, well, I'm not going to even say her name. I'm not going to talk to her. And Kyle's big argument was, well, she's not, I do the reality show. She doesn't do the reality show. And Morgan Wade was bothered by all the comments, like bothered by these housewives, people who probably said mean things or all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, got it. But Andy Cohen at least was saying something about this which was good. He was like, she is a public figure. She is making music. And anytime you put yourself out, you're going to be criticized on some level. So what's the problem? And then, Kyle comes back and argues this again. It's like, no, Kyle, you don't get it both ways. You don't get to be on the show and tell Denise Richards and try to out Denise Richards and what was going on. That whole thing.
Yeah, she did the same thing to her.
I cannot believe that not one person on this cast is willing to bring that up and defend Denise Richards and say, you came in here and basically made this woman reveal this. And you're now saying, no, it's off limits. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. It's like, and that's I think one of the reasons why Garcelle was like, because Garcelle was saying things like that. She was saying, but you can't, she was saying you can't have it both ways. So anyway.
Yeah, I know. Mary's trying to reinvent herself. Every time I see a post of hers, I don't know who's writing this stuff for her, but it's got some real goofy monologue of words about, I don't know, how she's finding her strength and her power and her, I don't know. Poor Mary.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Mary. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I don't know. It's almost a little bit like, who are you trying to convince? Yourself?
Yeah, I know.
People who write this, God, I can't stand those long posts about, it's just exhausting to read them. I'm like, really? Why do you have to put all this out here? Like, it feels so self-serving.
Yeah, it's very inauthentic. Really.
Yeah. And it's got nothing to do with, if you want to, I learned this particular, here's a story and this is what I learned from it. That's very different than, whatever this is. What is she doing now? She's worthing up or whatever it is.
I don't know if she's still using that or if she's trying to rebrand herself. I'm not really sure, but
she and Jen were supposed to, have a podcast, I thought.
I don't know. Was that Salty Birches? Was that supposed to be launching a podcast?
I thought that was supposed to be a podcast.
Oh, well, maybe. Have yet to see it, but we'll see. Maybe
Mary figured out podcasting is hard.
Yeah, well,
it's not as glamorous as it looks, people.
Everybody wants a podcast until they realize like how much work it is. But we'll see. But for now, we have boats to build.
Oh, yes, we do. And this was a continuation of Christine's slow descent into hell or numbness or I give up on my life, because she's back from Galveston and she basically is like, I don't care anymore.
Well, the title of this episode is Just Trying to Stay Afloat. And I'm like, this is really a metaphor for Christine's life.
Yes. Yes. Christine is just trying to make it through the day.
She's just trying so hard. And oh gosh, this was painful to watch.
But the best is the music that started it. It was like, I'm alive. I feel alive. I mean, it was just this very upbeat, like made up rock song of I feel alive. I feel alive. I'm like, oh, okay.
Ooh, who's feeling alive here? Not Christine.
No. Well, Christine's dead inside.
She is dead inside. But we're continuing the pirate theme that, we started in Galveston.
Yes.
And who knew that Las Vegas had a pirate fest every year in April?
Yeah.
And they have a cardboard boat race, regatta, if you will. And they're going to participate. The Brown family is going to participate in this. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. I mean, did you need content that much? Because it was about the cardboard race, but it was also about this adoption. And I can't wait until we get into that because I have some feelings about that as well.
Because they kind of scrunched in. It's like the regatta bookended this, and in the middle there's this adoption talk. So it's kind of an odd episode, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, the way I sense it, I feel like it was Gabe who was interested. He wanted to do it, and then maybe some other kids wanted to do it, and then they broke off into two different groups, and it just seemed like all the adults were the ones doing it. I was like, why are we doing it? Just the groups, you guys spent the whole week yelling at each other.
The groups were so uneven.
Yeah.
So it's like you have Robyn, Kody, Christine, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, and Isabel on one side, and then you have Janelle with Gabe, Gwen, and Savannah.
Yeah.
How is that fair?
I don't know.
I mean, my theory is that this was maybe Robyn's idea because their boat at the end, they put this advertising on it. They put My Sister Wives Closet on the boat. And of
great
course,
branding opportunity.
Yeah.
Just
great branding.
Such synergy, as they say in the business world.
Yeah. And at the end, they all kind of realize, I wonder if anyone there even understood what that meant.
Because this pirate crowd, they are waiting for some Sister Wives jewelry. I mean, they just, like, it was so odd. And actually, it looked like it was a whole festival kind of thing. I mean, actually, you guys would have been smart if you got a tent or a booth there and sold your wares.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, sort of like a Renaissance fair type thing. And they said on the sign for Pirate Fest, it said fairy and steampunk friendly. Not sure what that means. I guess it means that you can come in fairy or steampunk
costumes.
And you'll be welcomed. You don't have to dress like a pirate.
They're not going to make you walk the plank.
No. But it was so funny. You've got these middle-aged men with like their bare chests and their pirate vests on, and these women in their sexy pirate outfits.
Yeah.
And they're probably all getting drunk and not even really paying attention to
this cardboard
the regatta.
Race. Yeah. Because how many entries did they even have? Because the Browns were a big chunk of the entries. I mean, I know they're not going to show every boat, but
I don't know. It's just, and I have real questions about whether Team Kody even were following the rules, because originally, so they have to go to this class with Richard, the Pirate Fest instructor, who tells everyone how the boat is to be constructed. Because if you do it properly, even though it's cardboard, you're going to paint it, protect it so that it doesn't take on water and it doesn't sink. But you probably don't have much time. you have to, because it's like a race. You have to go from point A to point B. You're not racing against anyone, but you got to get to point B before your boat sinks.
Yes.
So they're at this class. They get their like plans for how you're going to construct the boat and whatnot. And then Team Kody goes off in this direction where they're adding wood to it. The parts that came up, like the what are those things called?
I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, it's like the I wrote it down, but now I can't find it. But anyway, so their boat is big and it has like these kind of curly Q things on the end, and Team Janelle is just a box, literally just a box. And it's nothing fancy. They ran out of paint. They had to duct tape it. I mean, it was weird.
Yeah. This is the part I didn't understand. They kept talking about, we don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time. And it's like, so were you not able to take that class until like a week before this regatta? Like, this Pirate Fest thing has been on the books. Like, why are we suddenly having to rush everything? Like, did you all decide it sounds a little bit like you decided to start this. It was all about time. And that's what was pissing Christine off, is every single time she kept feeling like, Kody, we don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time. I'm like, so why don't you have time? Well, I don't understand. Or maybe the time's about the glue or the paint.
These people didn't, they waited till kind of the last minute. And then they're making their boat more complicated than it needs to be, because I don't think you're judged on how nice your boat looks. I think you're judged on the seaworthiness of it and the time.
Yes, and how quickly you get it across.
Right.
Yes.
That's why they brought in Logan and Hunter to row.
Yeah, they had ringers.
Exactly. So it really doesn't matter what your boat looks like. So they spent all this time making the fancy boat and getting in fights. And every time they get in a fight, takes up more time, and they're debating things and arguing about things and storming off and then coming back. And I don't think the kids really did much of anything. It was all Kody and Christine and Robyn doing all the work, it seemed like.
Yeah. And it seemed, I don't know what was happening here. I get the sense that Christine was just like, well, she has so much anger, so much frustration that it's a little bit of, I don't know. I don't know what Kody was doing. We don't really ever see it. It just seemed a little bit like Kody was just my way or the highway, like building the stone tower, rock tower thing.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to do it my way. And Christine, the minute she sees, like the minute he dismisses her, she was just on him. And then I don't know what Robyn's role was. It was almost a little bit like Robyn felt like she too needed to disagree with Kody in order to align with Christine. Because he probably came back and was like, oh, that trip with Christine was terrible. It wasn't like being with you, Robyn. And maybe Robyn feels guilty or something. Because Christine's marriage is so terrible.
I think she was trying to kind of show off a little bit. She was not going to take a back seat in this boat building thing. Like, she's arguing with Kody about some, how to do something. And she's like, well, okay, I took calculus and geometry in college, but okay.
Yeah.
And it's first of all, Robyn, when did you go to college?
I didn't know you went to college. And did you graduate? Or did you take some college courses?
I think she took a half a semester of geometry and calculus and then dropped out. But, she was being very contentious with him. And she kept commenting on how, they all were, I think, were commenting on how it's awkward when you're with another sister wife and Kody's fighting with them. And you're just kind of there like a third wheel and you don't know what to do or say. I just think the whole thing with all the three of them working together for all those days, it was too much for them, because we know that they don't spend much time together, and especially just the three of them.
Yeah.
Close quarters. Because there was this one part where Kody's trying to explain the design of something. And he's like, yeah, see, it goes this way, like the number 69. And he and Robyn kind of catch each other's eye and kind of laugh under their breath. And Christine didn't even catch it. She was oblivious, but they had this little side joke.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I don't want to be gross, but there's no 69 with Kody and Christine. There's nothing like that is happening for them at all.
No.
Christine's been dying for something like that, but no, Kody's not going to do that for her.
No, Christine might get like just a 5-minute missionary, not even 5 minutes. I mean, a 2-minute missionary run, and that's about it.
Well, and Christine says there is no point in arguing with Kody because he's going to do it his way. And I was like, oh, yep.
Yeah.
She's done. She is checked out. Now,
she says you're wasting your time, even because in the end, Kody is going to be right. He's going to claim victory. You're never going to convince him otherwise. So why waste your time?
And the best part of it, too, is Kody's just kind of like no sense of, you just went on this trip. You just had this argument with her. This is now what she's saying. This is the problem, Kody. This is the problem. It's that she tells you things directly. You recognize it and you're not going to change it. Like, F you. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and he was being that way even towards Robyn.
Yeah.
You know,
but I think that's foreplay for them.
Yeah. They're just building up sexual tension.
Well,
later.
Also, is she pregnant? Because I felt like she seemed a little pregnant at this point. Or maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I didn't really notice. But yeah, it's a very, very strange dynamic. And then over on Team Janelle, Gabe
Janelle had no time for anything.
Yeah. Well, Gabe and Gwen are beefing a little bit because, Gabe's being bossy. Gabe is sort of the Kody in this group. I mean, he thinks he's right. He wants to do it his way. Gwen wants to make the boat more artistic. And he does, he's more into the utilitarian, let's get this boat done. And Janelle is not happy to be participating in this at all. She's very cranky, very moody. Even Savannah tells Gabe that he's being very bossy.
Yes.
I mean, so they're equally as dysfunctional, but in a different way.
Yeah, but I was watching this going, okay, Janelle, he was the one that was interested in this. He's the one that's saying he wants to do it. I'm not saying that he's okay being Kody 2.0, but I'm just saying that I feel like this is what he wanted to do. Why are you getting up in it? Like, if I was Janelle, I would be like, okay, fine. Just do it that way. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? The boat sinks?
She was really arguing with him and getting mad at him. And I didn't really understand why. Like, you know what, Janelle, do you have a better idea? You're not getting down on your knees and painting this. You know what I mean? Janelle is just standing there doing nothing, just yelling at him.
And again, I would like to say, what else? I mean, again, I think that as a parent, if you're working full time, you're commuting and then coming home at night and having to build this boat with your kid, I can understand the frustration and the exhaustion. What else are these people doing? Like, your job is being a reality TV star, and this is an episode of the job. And so where else do you have to be, Janelle, that you have to get so mad? I just felt like she was really mean to him, like really just like, let him do it. And if he was then you should have said, listen, Gabe, if you don't want someone else's input, then Gwen, you need to do your own boat. Like, there's a little bit of, I don't know. I felt for Gabe in this. I really did.
Yeah. Janelle just didn't want to be there and she was taking it out on him. It's kind of the bottom line. And then, but Janelle should have mediated between Gabe and Gwen. Yeah. And, if Gwen wanted to paint something on the boat or whatever, she should have been able to.
Yeah. If Gabe and her agreed to work on this together, then yes. But I also think that if he wanted to do the boat and it was his thing and he had a plan for it, and if someone comes along, there's a little bit of like, okay, then do your own boat. I don't know. It's just, they just made everything so much harder than it really needed to be. And not very fun. Like,
no, became a chore. But
because it's a little lake. Like, worst case scenario is it sinks.
Yeah. Well, look,
Okay.
they ended up triumphant in the end.
They
so.
did. They did. They came in second. They did. Ooh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Second in the whole thing.
Yeah, in the
Okay.
timed race because
Okay.
they had Logan and Hunter.
Yeah.
See,
And Kody,
that's strategy.
Yeah.
That's strategy.
Team Kody came in dead last.
Yeah.
Dead last.
But they got most creative for that lovely.
Because of the Sister Wives closet. I was looking at that boat. Yeah, it was painted there was these intricate designs
Mhm.
on the little curly Q things. I wish I could remember the name of them. And also I spied with my little eye, Robyn's stepdad Paul was there too,
Yes.
helping them.
Yes, he was.
So this was really unfair, really stacked against. But it doesn't matter. They lost anyway.
But hold on. It doesn't matter how many people you get to do it. If whomever decided to get Logan and Hunter to row, that person's
I think that was Janelle's idea.
Okay. Well, then that's smart.
Yeah.
That was a good contribution, Janelle. You don't have to yell at this kid.
I know. Poor Gabe.
I know. And I'm sure he was being a pain in the ass. My son's like that too sometimes. And you're just kind of sitting there going, dear God, kid, I know a few things. But sometimes you just have to bite your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of be like, okay, well, I guess we'll see what happens. So.
Yep. Well, now we're changing course.
Yes.
Well, so Robyn's ex, and I doubt, you know what? I think this happened at a completely different time. You know what I mean? I don't think this was happening during the week of the boat making.
Okay.
I really don't.
I can believe that. I can believe it.
I think I was trying to pay attention to the clothes and what they were wearing. I think they were wearing like completely different clothes. But anyway, they stick in this whole segment about how Robyn's ex is in her attorney Sasha's office right this minute, signing the paperwork, basically terminating his parental rights so that Kody can adopt his kids. And so, there's a little bit of suspense, like,
ooh, what's going to happen?
Ooh, what's going to happen? But he does sign, and they say, well, we should tell Mary first.
Yeah. So can we stop for a second before we get to telling Mary, which is this whole thing is so weird.
Yeah. Mary couldn't care less. But
it's also like your guilt is showing a little bit. Because if you didn't feel so guilty about this, you wouldn't be so obsessed with feeling like Mary needs to be included. Okay.
Yeah.
Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages. Here's my thing. If this guy, if Preston, this is how they're referring to him, if Preston was truly a controlling, narcissistic, abusive asshole, if he was that person, there's no way he would have signed those papers.
Absolutely not.
So this is the part that really bugs me, is that Robyn was building this up. Oh, she's like, I can't eat. I'm so nervous. What am I going to do? Bah, 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 bah. So let me get this straight. All it took was him going into the office and having a conversation, and he signed away the rights. Like, so someone who is what Robyn has described him as would never have signed off those papers. Even if he didn't even show up to court, like those kinds of people, they make a stink. You know this probably better than I do. Some of the stuff you've handled.
I was just thinking in my head right now, I know people who are, I would not categorize them as like raging narcissists, but they're just difficult people. And they would never give in, like never surrender to their own detriment, you know, because in the end they end up being screwed. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And all Sasha said was that he had a lot of questions about, okay, am I going to be able to see them?
Yes.
Am I going to be able to call them? Like, am I still going to be able to have a relationship with them? And she reassured him of all of these things. And it sounded like a very civilized conversation.
Yeah. And that's when I was like, the jig is up. Yes. I'm sorry. Because this guy would have made it miserable for you. And you're right. And I've seen this with people. I just know these people. It's just, they don't make it so easy. And so Kody, it's interesting because Kody's going, God, I thought this was going to be a major fight, but now it's over.
Because of what Robyn told him.
Yes. So this is the part that is a little bit like, yeah, Kody, you're the sucker here. Because she suckered you into thinking that this was going to be this massive fight. And there's a part of me that wonders why Robyn wanted all of this handled in Montana or Wyoming. Montana. Because I don't think you wanted him coming to Nevada. I don't think you wanted this guy to be anywhere near any of these people. Because they would see that maybe he's not quite what you've made him out to be.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
That bugged me. This was like, oh.
Yeah, this was quite a manipulation. This really was. So yeah, they go to Mary's house. I don't know if Mary knows why they're coming over or not, but when they tell her, she's pretty nonplussed, you know. She's kind of like, oh, that's great. Because I think at this point, Mary already has, I think she already has some regrets.
Yes.
And
I agree.
She's very hurt and upset. And I'm sure she's happy for the kids, but she's not happy about this. That she was basically guilted, forced, whatever, into doing this.
Yeah. Because I bet you anything that Kody told Mary, once you sign those divorce papers and once we're in this place, things will be so much better. And I bet you anything, he was nice to her for about 24 hours. And then he was a jerk to her again. And I think maybe she's realizing like, oh, that was on the list there and I did it. But oh, he's still not being very nice to me.
Yeah, you can just tell by the way she's talking. She's like monotone, emotionless, like just trying to get the words out to say whatever she has to say.
Well, did you see what happened was like, they told her. And so Mary's much like, okay, great. That's great. Okay. And then she pauses and she's like, then she goes and she hugs Robyn. They hug. She takes a step back, doesn't go to hug Kody. Kody comes to her, gives her a hug and tells her, good job. Which is what your dad says to you when you've done a good job. Do you know what I mean? Like, good job. Like, oh. Yeah. So that was weird. That whole interaction was weird. She didn't want to hug him.
No, she was very surprised. I think he was hugging her and and then they called Janelle on the phone. Like,
well, they wanted her to come over, but she's shopping.
She's busy.
She's like, just tell me. Oh, that's great. Good.
But she was also kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah.
But again, Janelle says, wow, that was simple. That was easy.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. We have someone in our life who lies a lot. And when you start to connect things, people will then realize, oh, wait a second. My entire impression of you or who you are is through this one person's voice. Oh, okay. Because you can tell each one of them, Christine, everybody had this story in their head that this guy was a monster.
Yeah, this was going to be legal hell, you know, this legal battle.
So then Christine, the worst sister wife known to man, comes over and hugs Robyn and Mary and everybody. She's such a terrible...
She's crying.
Yeah, but she's the worst sister wife. Like a knife to the kidneys. She never tried at all. I mean...
Then they're going to further torture Mary by making her come with them to tell the children.
Oh, yes. And this is the moment where I wrote, Mary resentfully wrapping a birthday gift. Like, tape. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. It's good. Fold. Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy all this is happening. She's
like, I'm glad that, I did have to legally divorce Kody, but, at least now, the kids can all be together. But she's like still trying to convince herself that this was worth it.
And aggressively wrapping Aurora's birthday gift or whoever's birthday it was. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. So again, the kids are brought in for this conversation. And again, they're sort of sitting there looking at them going like, what's happening now? Because everybody's so serious. These poor kids.
I know.
And I can't even remember exactly who told them. Was it Mary who told them?
Oh no, I think Robyn said that your dad signed the paperwork so that dad, meaning Kody, she didn't say your dad. She probably, I don't know how she referred to him, but that he signed the paperwork so that dad can adopt you. And so immediately Aurora bursts into tears. She's very, very emotional.
Yes.
Brianna's just kind of quiet, kind of doesn't really, maybe this is not all registering. And Dayton is stunned.
Yeah.
He says he's baffled, but happy.
Yes. Yes.
Because again, he probably thought he's the oldest. He's the one who's, got the most, maybe, understands what's going on. And he's probably been told by his mom that this is going to be this legal battle and it's going to be difficult. And so he's stunned that it wasn't so difficult.
But I also think, these three have interactions with their father. Like, I think they're also a little, I don't know if did they truly understand what this meant of their father, their bio father giving up his rights and having Kody adopt. Like, I don't even know if they really understood the magnitude of any of it. I kind of felt like a lot of it, which is why Aurora feels so young to me. I think Dayton kind of gets it a little bit more of like, really? Okay. So I think Dayton liked the idea of being part of this family, but I think at the same time, which is what I've said this many times, I don't think that Kody needed to adopt these children. I think you just need to have a will that sort of indicates where the kids could go if something happened to Robyn. So again, none of this really needed to happen. But
well, you know what Dayton says a few minutes later? He says, well, this is good. He says, because at first when he seemed very stunned, but then he clarifies that he's very happy about this. He says it's good for names and family connection, for emergencies.
Yes.
And good structure for the future if anything happens. So this is what Robyn has fed him, is that you need to be legally a Brown so you can change your name. So if there's an emergency, if something happens to me in the future, family connections, meaning maybe we'll be more accepted into the family, because there's probably already problems with feeling accepted into the family, even though they try to say, oh no, everything's just seamless, the seamless integration of these kids into this family. I mean, nothing happens perfectly that way. That's just not reality. So he's just saying the party line that Robyn has taught him. And it's really sad. And again, I don't even know if Brianna understands what's happening.
Yeah.
With Aurora just sobbing and like, why does this mean so much to her?
Yeah, that's the part I don't get. I don't get why all of these things that they're talking about, the name, like my son and I don't have the same last name. The world, last names, emergencies, whoever you put down on the emergency contact list is who they're going to call.
You can put anybody down. You can put your Aunt Sally down. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. And all of these kids are of an age, maybe not Brianna, they're all of an age where a judge would go to them and ask them, who do you want to live with? I think that's the whole point. Like, I think that Aurora has so much anxiety and Robyn has made her so anxious that Robyn has convinced her that this needs to happen. Therefore, you will feel safe. You will be okay. And I think that, I think Dayton's just gotten the party line. And I think Brianna's just confused. But then they tell all the kids about what happens and all the kids are kind of like, okay, because, okay, great. I mean, what does that mean? None of them seem to really get it.
And I noticed again in the background, Grandma Annie.
Yes.
I was studying her face.
Yes, me too.
She still looks a little concerned. And then Mindy was there. And then there was another woman there who I hadn't seen before. And there was also another little girl there who was around Saul's age. I don't know who that was, but it was like, who are all these people?
Yeah.
Over at Robyn's house helping her because she's so
busy.
So busy with work.
Making a cardboard ship with some branding. Great branding opportunity, this cardboard.
The Pirate Fest.
Pirate Fest. So and Aurora's crying, sobbing. This is a dream come true. Okay. And then, of course, this was also interesting. So Gabe, they ate dinner, and Gabe had did the prayer. And one of the lines was, thank you, God, for having, I don't know if he said Preston or not, write off the kids to dad. It was the weirdest phrasing. Because I don't think those kids quite understand.
I don't think they grasp what's
either.
happening. Yeah, he's trying to think of the right words because, what does this mean? Because again, paperwork shuffle. He's just right. We're just signing some paperwork, and it's just a technicality. So the Brown kids they're confused as well. Because this isn't normal.
So and then this is when. So we're back to building the boats. This is like the next day. Back to the boats, and Kody and Christine are at each other's throats. It's not even, they're not even pretending anymore. And then again, Aurora comes out and says that she called her father, Preston, to thank him for doing this. And she said he didn't brush it aside and didn't do that he was very much, she said he was very kind about it. He was very much like, I bet you anything. He said, I think this is the best thing for you, and you're going to still visit me, and this is what I want. If this is what you want, all of that stuff. Again,
he said all the right things.
A true abusive, controlling person who never would not, even with his kids, would not be speaking to them like this. All the actions that we've seen from Preston has been pretty rational. So that's all I'm saying about that.
He said, I love you and I can't wait to see you.
Yeah.
And then Robyn tries to say, oh, well, it's because, kids see things differently than adults. That this, they can see that this is no big deal. And it's like, well, not exactly, Robyn. That's not what this means. What it means, again, is that, your ex-husband is being incredibly mature about this. And he's reassuring them that he loves them and that he will still be in their life. And he even said he didn't want to do it, but he knew it was the right thing to do.
Yes. And I think he probably felt like, this is the only thing that's ever going to make her happy. If I don't do this, she's going to make it really difficult for me to have a relationship with these kids.
To see them, yeah.
So if this is what I have to do to make nice and do that, I bet you anything. Listen, I don't know this man from a hole in the wall, but this is my theory, because I'm just saying that people with these kinds of personality disorders, if abusive, controlling, they don't change unless they choose to change. And that usually doesn't happen.
And they want to get their way.
Yes, all the time.
Like Exhibit 1, Kody.
Oh, or I was going to say, and Robyn.
Yeah.
Two people that always want to get their way.
Always want to get their way. Like
whether it's good for the other people or not. Whether it's good for the children or not. And is it really good for those kids to know that their father signed away parental rights? That's huge to sign away those rights. Anywho.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so then Robyn calls Sasha, and this is when Sasha talks about how, that the only thing Preston was concerned about was about phone calls and visits. And Robyn says, well, we'll have to work up to that. So,
are you reneging now? You're backtracking?
Well, kind of. It's like she got what she wants. So now she's like, well, we'll have to work up to that. Why? You just told us about this phone call that Aurora had with him that was where he said, I love you and I can't wait to see you again. And they want to see him what? Work up to what?
Well, the other thing too is I kind of feel like, I understand Sasha's the attorney. She's trying to be professional, but there's no tea. There was no tea because the two of them, Kody and Robyn, it seemed to me that they were getting on the phone, putting it on speakerphone. Like, what's the tea? What was, almost like this idea. If I was Kody, I would be like, well, tell me everything. Like, what did he say? How did he act? Blah, blah, blah. And Sasha was just like, yeah, he just signed it. I explained it to him. These were his concerns. Okay, gotta go by.
I don't think there was anything more than that, because if there was, she would have said something. They could have cut it out, but it sounded like, just a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much ado about nothing.
Yep. So let's go back to the boats
The
because
boats. We got to finish this boat journey.
Janelle is losing it with Gabe. She has really lost her mind now. Christine is beyond, like just losing her mind because
she says she's cried like 3 times or something. Kody's made her cry multiple times.
But I think Kody makes her cry every day.
Yeah.
I think every day Christine cries because of Kody at this point in her life. I swear.
Yeah. Well, she told us that in Galveston. She says she's gotten to a point where every day is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I think every day there's some tears. Bet you the days there's no tears are the days that she doesn't see Kody at all. Or you know what I mean? She just doesn't, they have no interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yes, but it's been a long week. Everyone's on edge. This was supposed to be fun. Christine rented a truck that was too short.
Mm-hmm. Why didn't she just take it back and exchange it for?
I don't know. Then maybe there isn't
one
that's, maybe it goes from 15 feet to 50 feet or 30 feet or something like that. Maybe there's a huge jump because it really was just a few. It was like wasn't that far off.
It was 15 feet on the top of the top of the cab, but it wasn't 15 feet from the door to the end of the floor.
Yeah.
So that's why they had to prop it up. I don't know. They made it work.
Yeah. Kody called Christine a crybaby at one point.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was one. Christine says that I've been yelled at for 4 days. And Kody says, no, you haven't, crybaby. And then Robyn says, stop it. That's enough. I mean,
Kody, you're not doing a very good job of defending yourself if you basically do the exact same thing. You know what I mean? If you just show us what you're doing.
He's unhinged at this point. Like Gabe took some of his paint to finish painting their sorry little thing, which they named SS, just enough to participate.
Yeah.
And he's all upset and, at Gabe. And it's like, this is a child. Like, you're an adult. Stop. And then Kody says to Christine, why aren't you looking at me? And that's when she says, I've been yelled at for 4 days. Like, she's just trying to avoid any contact or interaction with him. He's just miserable. And Janelle is like, yeah, that's why I'm not over there. That's why I'm not on that team. I mean, it's really they've just got to get this thing over with. They got to get down to the regatta because everyone is losing their shit. But they cut to all these funny little clips of Truly has made her own little cardboard box boat skirt out of an Amazon box or something. And she's running around and Savannah's got one of those flowy skirts with the coins on them.
Yeah. It was very cute. Truly says, she looks at the boat, she goes, is that boat really going to float? It's like, this is why I love Truly. It's just like, good point, Truly.
And Isabel's just sitting there with some Viking horns on. I mean, these poor kids, they've had to watch their parents just, arguing for like 5 days straight, 4 days straight, whatever it's been. So they've just got to get this thing over with.
Yes. We talked a little bit about what happened when they got there. So I guess Hunter and Logan were brought in at the 11th hour. Logan was just like, okay, fine. What do I need to do? My shift as dad is, I gotta shift with my family to be dad here.
Yeah. Am I getting paid for this?
Yeah. But he was shocked. He was like, he couldn't believe how good the boats looked and how strong they were and how sturdy. And but the team Gabe came in second because it wasn't pretty, but they knew how to row and it moved. I think that was the other thing too, was
it wasn't as heavy.
And there were, the other one, there was a lot of people in it. Like this one, it was just 4 people and just even that seemed like a lot to me. But maybe you have to have a certain number of people in the boat or something. I
don't know. I think you probably only really have to have 2. I don't know. I don't know what the rules were at Pirate Fest. I don't know how we get a copy of the rules for the Pirate Fest regatta. I wonder if
The
there's
2015, what year do we think this is? The 2015 Pirate Regatta rules and regulations.
Well, I wonder if they're still having it. I wonder if it's still going.
Well, we could look that up. I don't know. Ooh, Brooke, do you want to go? This was the other thing too was, and I really did, I did really feel for them because, they were building all of this in Vegas in April outside too.
Yeah, it was hot. They mentioned a few times that it was really hot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I have down here in my notes that Kody said something about the terror of embarrassment. But, because Kody, he thought he was going to come in first place. So yeah, they get in their boat. They've got way too many people in there, and there's no coordination in their rowing. They're basically going in circles.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
We have breaking news, people. Pirate Fest 2025 is happening Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th.
Wait a minute.
At Craig Ranch Park. And this is the Vegas one. I don't know where Craig
Saturday.
Ranch Park is. Wait, did I not get the right dates? 26. Yeah. That's
Saturday. Not this Saturday, but whatever you're hearing.
Start your boats now, people, because you got less than 2 weeks.
Well, is there what is the entry fee?
Let's see. Let me look at the Facebook group. Oh, I know. I can't get in this.
Do they have a web page?
Yes. Oh, right here. Proceeds from the Pirate Fest benefit Paradise Ranch Foundation. Adults, it's $20 each. Children and military, $15. Children under 4 are free. So what are you asking? Sorry, what were you asking if...
Oh, what the entry fee is?
So I wonder if you just do that or you just pay to, go to the event. Map. Stage
I'm sure there's an entry fee for, that's the admission price to get in, but then to compete, I'm sure there's a fee, an entry fee for that.
Gosh, this is it is chock full. There's Gladius the show. There's a whiskey tasting. There's a pirate pub crawl. There's juggling school. Celtic caterer. I don't know what that is. Oh, where you learn to cook traditional Scottish foods. Armored combat.
Well, wait a minute. We're getting far flung from pirates. Celtic combat.
Yeah, there's shanty sing-alongs. There's a lot of stuff for kids. I could think if you're kind of into that whole world and you had kids, I think this would be fun, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to, take your kids there, let them tire themselves out.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just looking really quickly to see. I don't see anything about this race. Maybe they don't do it anymore. Maybe they were after the Browns, they were oh dear God, these people have just ruined this.
Or do you think they did it just for that?
No. So
I didn't see any other boats.
Let's see. No, I don't see anything about the boat race at all. But anyway.
All right. Well,
they've got there's a web page and there's a Facebook group. So if anyone's interested, if you live in that area.
Yeah, if you live near Las Vegas.
But you know what? As I was searching, I think there's a lot of these pirate fests. I think there's one in Tampa. I'm sure there's one around here. In the Bay somewhere.
Have you ever been to one of those Renaissance fairs or any of those type of things?
No. Berkeley always has this Renaissance fair. I don't even know if they still do it, but I've been to them, but I don't like dressing up. Mm-hmm. I'm not into any of this stuff. I don't want to talk like milady. Here's my steed and my sword. I don't need to do that. I find no joy in that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been to one of those. Not that I can recall.
And I don't find pirate related things all that fascinating. It's not my Roman Empire.
Well, yeah. And I'm not a dress up kind of person. I struggle to dress up for Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So when Layla was I'm trying to think of how old I think she was was it kindergarten or first grade? I don't know. She was pretty young, and we went to, the Halloween store to get a costume for her. And she wanted me to get a costume and dress
Yes,
up.
I remember that costume, Brooke. Because you wore it several years.
Yes, I still have it. And I'm not a costume person. I really, I can count. I think the only other time I dressed up as an adult for Halloween remember when you and I and my friend Heather, we went as the Brady girls to a party, and everyone kept asking us, well, who are you? And it's like, isn't it obvious? Like, we had wigs, we had the clothes, the 70s clothes. Anyway, so Layla wanted to pick an outfit, a costume for me. So she picked the sexy pirate, which is like hot pink and black and short. And I'm like, oh gosh. And she wanted me to try it on. And I just kept thinking, I hope this doesn't fit. I hope it doesn't fit. And then I have an excuse why I can't get it. Or, it doesn't fit. No, it fit. And so I bought it and I wore it for several Halloweens.
You did. You did like being the sexy wench.
I actually did like the sexy pirate. I did feel sexy when I put it on. But when she got older, she didn't want me dressing up anymore. And I didn't want to dress up. And so, that was the last time I dressed up.
Layla still dresses up, but Max got bored of that by like 5 or 6. One year, maybe the last year he went trick-or-treating, he was really into the A's, the Oakland A's. So he basically just wore like this A's sweatshirt and these just sweatpants. And we were telling people that he was the manager of the A's because pretty much it was what like the manager wears. And, but after that, he was just kind of like, okay, what, like I have to go door to door and ask people for candy. And I don't even like most of it. And I could just get you two, to buy me the candy and the candy that I want. I mean, it's not wrong, but we are just not that kind of family. Like neither of our parents like to dress up that much.
There's people who are dress up people and people who aren't.
Yeah.
I don't know how Layla became such a dress up. She still dresses up for, Halloween. She's now at Coachella, all dressed up in her Coachella outfits. There's a lot of planning goes into that. So, I don't know where Layla got a lot of her things, not from me.
Yeah. But Steve doesn't really like to I think also it's a little bit like, I think people who like to dress up marry people who like to dress up, because Steve and I met, we both were like, no, we don't like to dress up. So neither of us is going to push the other one. I think if one of us did, maybe it would force the other one, but it was just like, oh God, no. Steve
made you go to these. Well, what were those things he used to collect? He used to collect a lot of stuff, but like
Pez.
No, he had those figurines that came in packages.
Oh yeah.
But what were they?
Well,
like Star Wars or?
Yeah, I mean, but it was like everything. There was a time where those toys were big, to keep them in the packages. But it was everything. I mean, there were Kiss dolls and I don't know. It was, it really was, because his room when we first met was like covered in those things. And it was very much like when we moved in together, I didn't ask him to, but he sold all of it. That's how we paid for the furniture and everything. We were able to furnish our entire apartment from the toy collection.
Well, did that give you pause when you came into his apartment? You saw all those dolls.
No, frighteningly, no. It should have, huh? I mean, again, I think I said, I can't remember if I said this on a Patreon or something else, but like, I do look back. We did it was all really fast. Because the first time I went into his room, I didn't think I was going to marry him. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think I didn't think that. So I didn't take that in. And then, I think the thing was, I think if he was really weird about the dolls, I think it would have like been a little different. I guess I think it's San Francisco and he's a musician and a lot of it was connected to music and he liked to collect things and it didn't seem so alarming to me.
Okay.
And the fact that he easily was like, okay, I need to I need to let this go. I'm probably too old for this anyway, kind of thing. And hey, it made, he made thousands upon thousands of dollars from, he had 400 pezzes, this little case that he sold. Like he had tons of stuff. So, it's really, ladies, don't be afraid of the toys. Just see if their personality, do they match? Do they, are they prioritizing you over the toys?
Well, yeah, and they're in the package. It's not like he's taking them out and they're fighting each other, like playing, like knocking each other down, or
No. I will tell you, what would totally have turned me off if he was like, "Oh, let's go to the Renaissance fair," and then he starts talking to me like, "Milady, let's," that would have been.
Yeah,
I would have been out.
A deal breaker.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate you. If you enjoy us, go check out our Patreon. We have a bonus episode where we talk more about our personal lives and other things that are going on, along with hot topics and such. We have for our higher tier, we have, and you get all the shows ad free. I always forget to mention that. For the higher tier, there's an Ask Us Anything, where you can ask us legal or mental health questions, and a special true crime that does not happen anywhere else except for our Patreon. And you can also follow us on social media. You can subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star rating. Those ratings really do help us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you can rate us. That does help. And I think that's it. We'll be back next week. This Thursday's show is Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer. We're here Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I guess next week then, because Sister Wives is back, we'll be back on Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably, we need to drop them, so people get that Sister Wives content right away.
Yeah, got to get it right away.
Yeah. So we will see you then. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.